Welcome back, everyone. We're diving deep today into one of, well, the mysteries of the 20th century, you could say. The Roswell Incident.
Oh, yeah, right.
A story that just, it never loses its grip, does it?
It doesn't. It got everything.
It does. It's 1947, right? Cold War tension, everyone's a little on edge.
Absolutely.
And then, boom, this rancher in New Mexico.
Mac
Brazel.
The finds debris.
Yeah, but this isn't like, your average plane crash.
Yeah.
This stuff is weird.
Yeah.
And it's that weirdness that kind of kicked off, well, everything that came after.
It really did became this global phenomenon.
Before we get too ahead of ourselves, though, I think we got to go back to the basics.
Yeah.
For anyone who maybe hasn't heard of Roswell, what did Brazel actually find out there on his land?
All right, so picture this. You're out in the New Mexico desert. It's 1947. It's hot. It's desolate. And you start coming across these metallic pieces.
Yeah.
They're super lightweight.
Okay.
Like, oddly so. But you try and bend them, they won't bend. Try to break them, they don't break. Then there's this foil-like stuff, almost indestructible. And these stiff sticks, like unbreakable sticks. Who finds that, right?
You'd definitely be calling someone.
He did.
Who do you call?
The authorities. And word gets out, of course.
Local paper even ran with it, didn't they?
The Roswell Daily Record, big, bold headline, Flying Disc.
Flying Disc. In 47. I mean, talk about capturing the imagination.
Right. Played right into all the anxieties, the sci-fi craze starting to build.
But then, and this is key, right? The military steps in.
Very quickly.
Changes the story.
Gone is the flying disc.
Weather balloon. Just a weather balloon.
That's their line.
I don't know about you, but if I found all that weird stuff and then suddenly the government's like, nope, nothing to see here, just a balloon, I'd be a little suspicious.
A little. I'd be full-on conspiracy theorist by that point.
But it's not just us, right? I mean, one of the guys who was actually sent to examine the debris, Jesse Marcel.
Intelligence officer.
Right, intelligence officer. He initially went along with the balloon story. But years later, he comes out and says, wait a minute, what I saw, that wasn't from Earth.
Changed his tune. Big time.
Huge risk for him, I'd imagine, to go against the official story like that. What made him change his mind? What was so weird about that debris?
Well, he starts talking about the material. Can't cut it, can't dent it. The foil, can't tear it. Tries to burn it, won't burn.
It's almost like he was describing something, well, alien.
The word he used was not of this Earth.
Okay. So we got strange materials, we got the military swooping in, changing the story, and now a key witness saying, nope, something else was going on.
And we're just getting started.
Yeah.
Because this mystery, it goes even deeper.
I have a feeling you're about to tell me about the bodies.
Because it's not just about what crashed, right?
Right.
It's about who or what might have been piloting it.
Yeah, the bodies. This is where Roswell goes from, a curious object in the desert to full-blown alien encounter.
Exactly. And those reports, they started swirling almost immediately. People claiming they saw small figures. Humanoid, but not quite human.
And those descriptions, they really stuck with people, didn't they?
Oh, absolutely. The classic gray alien image, big eyes, small bodies, that really has its roots in Roswell.
I mean, think about it. Before Roswell, what did people even picture when they thought alien?
It was all over the place. Little green men, bug-eyed monsters, you name it. Roswell kind of gave us this template.
And it wasn't just the look, right?
Yeah.
The whole idea of the government trying to cover it all up.
Yeah.
That also came out of Roswell.
Big time. And it makes sense when you think about the timing. Cold War, suspicion everywhere.
Everyone's looking for an edge, right?
Yeah.
Could it be the Soviets? A new weapon?
Exactly. So something like Roswell happens, people's imaginations are already primed for something big.
And then you add in the stories of witnesses being silenced, threatened even. That just throws fuel on the fire.
Oh, yeah. Guys like Glenn Dennis, the mortician.
Mortician?
Yeah.
What's his connection to all this?
Well, his story is pretty chilling, if you believe it. He claims the military contacted him right after the incident, wanted child-sized coffins.
Okay, that's creepy.
Right. And it gets worse. Dennis says he saw these unusual bodies at the base, overheard talk about something otherworldly.
I mean, if that's true, that's not just a cover-up. It's like something out of a nightmare.
It definitely adds a whole other dimension to the Roswell story. Makes you wonder, how far did they go to keep this thing under wraps?
Right. Because if it really was just a weather balloon, why all the secrecy? Why silence people?
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question. And it's made even more complex because the official explanation, it didn't stay consistent over time.
It didn't. So it wasn't just weather balloon all along.
Nope. Decades later, in the 90s, the Air Force comes out with this new report. They say the Roswell debris, it wasn't a weather balloon at all. It was from this top secret project called Project Mogul.
Project Mogul, what was that all about?
So picture this. They were trying to monitor Soviet nuclear tests. Use these high-altitude balloons with, like, super sensitive listening devices.
Balloons? Really?
Yeah, and these balloons, they crashed a lot. The materials they used, they were kind of strange, to make them fly so high.
So on the surface, I guess that kind of makes sense. Maybe some of the weird stuff witnesses described, it was just from these balloons?
Maybe, but there's some holes in that story. The materials from Project Mogul, they don't quite match up with what people described handling at Roswell.
Like what? Yeah. What didn't match up?
Well, there's this whole thing about a material that could, like, remember its shape. You could bend it, twist it, but it would always go back.
Almost like, I don't know, a memory metal or something.
Yeah, that's the term. But those types of alloys, they barely existed back then.
So could the Roswell stuff be something even more advanced?
Yeah.
Something they couldn't even explain in 47?
That's the question, isn't it? And then there are those sticks Brazel found.
The unbreakable ones?
The Air Force, they said it was just balsa wood and foil for radar, but witnesses said they were way stronger than that, like impossible to break.
Okay, so we're stuck with these two sides, right? The official story, trying to make it all sound normal, explain it away, and then the witnesses, the weird stuff, this feeling that something's not right.
And that tension, that's what makes Roswell so captivating. We're left wondering, what do we believe? Was it just a big misunderstanding? Or did something truly incredible happen? Something the government had to hide?
Something that changes how we see our place in the universe.
It really does make you think, doesn't it? Like, what if?
It does. And I think that's why, even after all this time, people are still so fascinated by Roswell. It's that what if?
Because it could change everything, right? If we're not alone.
Exactly. It challenges everything we think we know about, well, about everything. Our place in the universe, the whole deal.
It's like we want to believe.
We do. But then there's that other part of us, that skeptical part, that says, okay, hold on, what's the real story here?
And the government, the way they handled it, well, let's just say they didn't exactly help calm things down.
No, they didn't. All that secrecy, the changing stories, It just made people more suspicious.
Because, if there's nothing to hide, why hide anything?
That's what gets me. It's almost like they wanted people to think it was aliens.
Maybe they did. Maybe they didn't. I mean, think about it. It was the Cold War. Everyone was paranoid.
True. The Soviets, nuclear weapons, spies everywhere.
Exactly. So something like Roswell happens and people are already primed to think the worst.
Or the most exciting, depending on your point of view.
Right. So maybe the government, they figured, hey, let's just let them think it's aliens. It'll distract them from the real threats.
A convenient distraction.
Exactly. Or maybe, just maybe, they really didn't know what they were dealing with.
And a cover-up was the easiest way to, to control the situation. To avoid panic.
Or maybe, and this is a thought, maybe it was a cover-up, but not for the reasons we think.
What do you mean?
What if it wasn't aliens they were trying to hide? What if it was something else? Something human-made, but so advanced, so top secret, that they couldn't let it get out?
Okay, now that is a theory I haven't heard before.
Because, even back then, they were working on some pretty wild stuff. Stuff we probably don't even know about.
So Roswell could have been like a glimpse into the future, a future that the government wasn't ready to reveal.
Right. And maybe someday those secrets will come out.
Or maybe they'll stay buried forever, like those pieces of debris scattered out there in the desert.
Who knows? But that's the beauty of it, right? The mystery. It keeps us guessing, keeps us looking for answers.
And that's what we do here on The Deep Dive. We dive into these mysteries, these stories that they refuse to let us go. And who knows, maybe by examining them, by talking about them, we can get a little closer to the truth.
Or at least closer to understanding why they fascinate us so much.
Exactly. So until next time, keep those minds open, those eyes peeled, and keep searching for those answers. You never know what you might find out there.